latest news on the West Wing?
There's no latest news.
Oh, latest.
Sorry.
I'm ready to move in.
Yeah. We have money for the structural assessment. And it's one of my projects that hasn't quite risen to the top of the priority list yet. But I need to accomplish it in 2025. So I'll probably do that very quickly.
Are you also able to plug in the OWL to your computer? Okay.
Hey Casey, just checking. Can you hear
I
me?
can get here earlier.
I can hear you,
The whole
Sam.
thing.
Can you hear me?
I wasn't
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
what goes
Awesome.
there.
Good deal. I will be down there shortly. I just need to catch the kiddo when he lands.
Hello.
Hey everyone,
Hello.
we're just getting the OWL set up.
Thanks, Casey.
So yeah, but I think we have Luke just got here, so I think we've got everyone. So we'll get started once we get the OWL up and running.
Through the process, but to rebuild the downstairs with a meeting setup in there. So we could just, it would be a TV and a nicer camera and everything.
Like it just in the
Yeah.
room that so we could do these meetings here.
Also, I guess I was way off that everyone was going to be in person.
I think we could do it relatively cheap.
Yeah.
Hope to be in person soon.
You rode your bike over, huh?
Yeah, always.
Can somebody online let me know if you
Don't
can
you
hear me
just,
and say something so we can see if we hear you?
Up the hill.
I can hear
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Can you hear me?
It's easy getting
I-
here, harder
I
going
can hear
home.
you.
Oh,
But
Okay, cool. Would you talk one more time?
I can hear you.
Yeah, so can I.
I folded my contact when I was walking in. Do you mind if I go fix it really quick while you
Yeah.
guys are? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you.
All right. John needs to step out for a sec, but I'm gonna chair this meeting. It's my first time doing it. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm gonna call this meeting to order at 5:34, and I'm saying that out loud for my notes because I am not able to get the AI assisted notes going just yet. But we'll do roll call, and we'll start with just everyone that's here in person.
Okay.
So we'll take attendance. Luke,
here,
Electra,
Here.
Casey is here, and then we also have Jim Navertail, Dr. Jim Navertail. And then John is also here in person, and so online it looks like we've got Sam, CT, and Caroline, and then I see we also have Jesse Sievers, member of the public in attendance. So welcome, Jesse.
Oh,
So at this time, we'll approve the minutes from the last two meetings. So Lindsay sent over the July meeting minutes, yesterday, maybe earlier this week. And then I also circulated the minutes from August earlier this week as well. So do I have a motion to approve the July and August 2025 meeting minutes?
can approve the minutes.
Motion, do I have a second?
second.
Awesome.
Second.
Second.
All present vote aye.
I
Any
Hi.
changes or anything from anyone? Are we good to go? All right, minutes approved. Awesome. At this time, I don't know if we have any public comments on non-agenda items from anyone. Jim, I don't know if you had any public comments you wanted to offer at this time?
no.
No?
Thing.
Okay, I did see that we did get one comment or one set of, an email from a gentleman, Dave Hollick, regarding, Eldora. And so I don't think that, that's something that PROSAB needs to take up at this point. But did want to acknowledge that, that Dave did email us, along with the planning commission and SAB as well, and the BOT about some questions about Eldora. So I'm sure that someone from the town will be getting back to him, but just wanted to acknowledge that we did get those from him earlier this week.
It was also a very thoughtful email, I thought. So thank you for sending that, Dave.
Agreed. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I think we can now jump into, we actually, since Sam has to get off for a fundraiser, we're gonna jump actually to the action item that's at the bottom of the agenda. And so we've currently have two PROSAB vacancies right now. We've got the alternate position that's been open for a couple months now. And then Lindsay, our former board member, stepped off the board right before our meeting last month in August. So we've got two open positions. We have 3 candidates. And so I wanted to open up for discussion on that. And so just to remind everyone, we've got Adam Stroop, Nick Ligon, and Kirsten. I'm blanking on her last name. I'm sorry, Kirsten. But I did reach out to all 3 candidates last week to confirm that they were still interested, just because there'd been a little bit of lag in between when some people applied at the beginning of June to us finally taking this up in our September meeting. And so I did hear back from both Adam and Nick that they're very interested in joining the board. I did not hear back from Kirsten, but I know we got to hear personally from all 3 applicants at our July and August meetings. And so I wanted to open it up for maybe a quick discussion before maybe proceeding to a vote, just so we can maybe get people's thoughts on where people are headed. I think that's appropriate, but let me know if you guys think otherwise.
I think
No,
that's
I think
good.
it is. I mean, if anybody has any questions or thoughts, I don't necessarily have any. I have in mind who I'd like to vote for. So
The one thing I think I heard, I looked at the meeting minutes and I heard from Sam, I wasn't at the July meeting, so I didn't get to meet with Adam and with Kirsten. I did get to hear from Nick. But it's my understanding that Kirsten would only be able to attend virtually due to a work commitment for these meetings. And so, I think that was the only thing that was concerning to me is that, obviously we try to we encourage, people to attend any way they can in these meetings, but I think there is a benefit to getting together in person. And so maybe just with her work schedule right now, this board might not be a good fit, with her schedule. So that was just my only thought of, to the extent we can encourage people to meet in person, I think that can be a huge benefit to our board and working together, since we are having these newer folks to the board. So that was just one thought that I had that would count against her. I feel bad saying that, but that's my thought there. I don't know if anyone has anything else to add, or we can do the vote.
Just one question, because I know Kirsten had worked previously with Jonathan. And it sounded like she also had studied Parks and Rec stuff in school. Wasn't sure, Jonathan, if you had any more to share since you have direct working experience with her.
Yeah, I think she's a wonderful person and she's very knowledgeable. She's also got an interesting angle for PROSAB, I think, which is that she is, I think she's got a lot of background in education and childcare, which I think, that's one aspect of our recreation plan that we haven't spent a lot of time talking about, but it is pretty important. I do know she's a very busy person, and she probably is a person that you could activate as a volunteer to help if her schedule doesn't align with kind of what you're doing here. She's very community oriented, and she's lived here for longer than I know. I know she's lived here at least 20 years, but I think she would be willing to continue working with with PROSAB either way. And then we do have some other vacancies on other boards. So I do want to mention that if she wanted to participate in a different way, there are other opportunities too, if it just doesn't quite align with you guys right now.
Thank you. That's really helpful. Does anyone else have any other thoughts? I will admit I don't know how to do a multi-person vote. So I guess maybe everyone goes around and says they select.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go for it.
If you have 2 vacancies and 2 people, is that?
3.
3 people,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So I would probably just probably do them as separate motions for each of them, just so that, unless, you can, if there was a.
Well, I had a leading in question I know that those guys kind of gave a brief overview, but I was just looking to see if we had anything in the notes for like a recap. So we can just kind of do a refresher about who each person
Yeah.
is.
I think it's in
anybody
the
else-
minutes.
If anybody else needs that.
Yeah, but since I was the only, I missed the July meeting, so I can't give an overview on Adam, but I know for Nick, he works in the outdoor industry. I think he works for a pretty big bike company. I know he lives in Coal Creek Canyon, so he's not, a town resident, but closely, outside the town limits. And I know one thing he mentioned was prioritizing existing trails over new trails, and that seemed like something that was important to him.
It's Shimano, right? The bike.
Shimano.
Shimano,
Okay, yeah.
yes. And then I don't know if anyone wants to do a quick overview of Nick, or sorry, of Adam. Otherwise, I can pull up the minutes.
Yeah, I was just pulling up the minutes. There's not a lot in there.
I can kind of give you an overview just because I know him pretty well, and so if you, I can just make it easy for you if you want.
Yeah, please go for that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So there's technically he's right on North Beaver Creek area, and so just technically, it's really in town feeling in terms of his reference point to town, and then he is works for CU and is a really big outdoors person himself, and both climbing and mountain biking. And they have a little one, he and his wife Galen, that's similar or about a year and a half younger than Ari. I'm just giving my reference point. So they've got a kid as well in the community. I think Oaken's a year and a half old. So yeah, super involved in things in that way. And I think the CU piece of the puzzle is kind of interesting as well because it's on the, I want to say, environmental health and safety side.
Yeah, I remember some of his comments were to see you.
All right, well, I think with that, John, sorry, so should we still do an individual motion for each person if there's more applicants than positions,
Yeah, we
or?
can just do like, I move to approve to appoint Nick Lagon to our open position.
Yeah.
Main.
This
board
one-
Open position.
This one's a recommendation to the BOT.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that way would be the cleanest, just so that you have the.
Record.
The other thing you could do is, in the past, we have, if there is a person who's interested that isn't selected, you can keep them informed if something happens. That's what we have done recently for the DDA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so how would we, we're not, nominate, like, what's the wording there on?
Recommending to the
Recommend.
Board of Trustees
Right.
approval of,
Yeah,
to appoint.
Yeah. all right, so I move to recommend to the Board of Trustees, Nick Lagon for our open PROSAB position.
I'm sorry, is one an alternate and one,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah,
you might want to
One main
identify.
Position, that's what,
Yeah,
for our main board position.
I will say, I think Nick said he would be open to the alternate position because he lives outside of town and he was like new, so I don't know if it matters, like, I feel like they're like essentially the same position. I don't know like how much, the alternate designation matters. I
Right.
guess everyone technically applied to be an alternate, so, sorry, I'm just like thinking
Yeah.
through this,
Yeah,
but,
totally.
yeah, so, I second that motion. And we'll do a formal vote, so, Electra? So this is for Nick,
What's the
Lagan.
word to say? Do I say?
Just say, yeah.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you split it, say yes.
Yes,
You can
aye.
say
Casey, yes, Luke,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
PT,
Yes.
Caroline,
Yes.
great. One down, two to go.
Anybody else want to do one?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I move to recommend, Adam Stroop to the open alternate position.
I'll
Second,
second that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, great. I'll do the voting in the same order. Electra?
Yes.
Luke?
yep,
Casey, yes. Sam?
Yes.
Yes.
Caroline?
Yes.
Okay. And I think with that, we can also, agree to keep Kirsten informed about any potentially openings, maybe in the coming months with PROSAB, and to, invite her to our meetings. And it sounds like John would also be willing to let her know of other vacancies on other boards, given her scheduling issue with, not being able to attend in person for our meetings at this time. So, okay. I think that's all. So we're gonna vote. We all just voted for the BOT to take this up hopefully at their next meeting, which I think is happening in early October. So then for our October board meeting, we should be fully staffed board, which is
Yeah.
exciting. And so, yeah, we appreciate everyone's interest in the board and their applications. And so looking forward to having us up to full power. Okay, so with that, we're gonna go back up to the information items. And that is
Drop off.
Luke.
Thank you all.
you're gonna drop off?
Yeah, do you want me to hang on for a second? Keep it in my ear.
No,
for 2 minutes.
no, yeah, I mean, the only, informational item is that we're trying to get this first review. I know that I have some open tasks on that. Sam has a couple of open tasks on that, and so we'll try and get that, John, for the mid-October, second October.
I have a scheduling meeting with the mayor on Monday,
Okay.
so we'll try to get that figured out. The agendas are very, very busy,
Yeah.
but so we might have to tweak a little bit, so.
Yeah,
Is it
But-
budget season?
yeah.
Yeah, and buying a ski area.
Yeah, that thing.
But-
Yeah, okay.
But I think this is important. This is not a thing that we want to skip, so I think it's just a matter of making it fit.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea on length of presentation just for,
I have a hard time guessing at kind of how much feedback people will have. I would guess it would take like 20-ish minutes to
Okay.
just kind of do a walkthrough, 15.
okay, and we're not, this is the initial presentation, so what the other option I was thinking is I could ask if it fits better. I just wanted to see if you'd be open to like, if we could do like a 6 o'clock work session. We've done that a couple of times.
Totally.
Because that could be another option, or even 6:30 if that would fit,
Yeah.
but it just depends on the board.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just sort of depends on how much feedback people want to have. We could do it like a really brief
Okay,
presentation, and then if people have a lot of feedback, we could do a work session.
I'll talk to them and follow up with you, and then we'll schedule it.
Yeah, and if you want to try and do it sooner, so like at the next meeting, we just do a like 5-minute overview thing. People can look at it, decide how much
Okay.
opinion they have, and then we could,
I'll get it in there one way or the other. We'll fit it. It's just a matter of
right,
the
well,
shoehorn.
I'll prioritize.
Yeah.
Finishing those last couple of things in there.
Cool.
Okay,
I had moved this up to your section, Luke, but maybe it's more of a John update, but that board organization ordinance.
Yeah. So we briefly talked about this at your last meeting. This is needing to come back to the board too in the near future. We've talked to almost all the boards about it. I'm just following up. So generally speaking, where we're at with it is essentially what we're trying to do is codify the boards. And this is also aligned to kind of the conversation we had about our strategic plan on Tuesday. And the goal is to, this is not coming from a place of deficit. It's coming from a place of like, how do we align our teams as we move forward? So strategically, the work you're doing is easy to move up and down, and conversations happen quickly, and all those kinds of things that we know make things effective.
yeah, and just like clarifying our process, like how we do make our recommendations. So that
Yeah.
everybody knows.
Right.
Yeah.
And Luke too, like making it easier for the liaison to this board, knowing like just how those things, what they're bringing down, what they're bringing up, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think what I wanted to tell you, there's been a big robust conversation about term limits and about whether you could be on 2 boards. Those are really the 2 big questions. I don't think there's any appetite for the board to have those on there. What the intention with this ordinance is to create a conversation about these things. And I think that happened, and that's really good. So we know excuse me, I'm sorry. Those things aren't gonna fly with the community and more just because they're just not feasible for us. So the final ordinance will not reflect that. There has been a question, and I guess I'd kind of pose it to you as a discussion question about whether, not a term limit, but a limit on chairs, like how long you can be in the chair position, or like if do you rotate a position and you stay on the board, but maybe the chair rotates or something like that. That is something that we did not contemplate in the original ordinance. So I'm just telling you that that's something that's happened. If you guys want to talk about it, don't need to include it, but it's something, I think there's probably pros and cons to that as well. Like, um, gives more people that experience, but at the same time, like maybe, you find somebody that's working, you want to keep that going. So that could go either way too. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that's kind of where we're at. The next step, we've talked to pretty much all the boards about it. I think SAB's going to talk about it one more time. And then we'll probably bring it back to the Board of Trustees with these changes and see if we can get this happening. And then next year, I think what the exciting work of next year would be, and I say exciting, meaning, I really mean that, is that part of the ordinance says that each board should create a work plan, an annual work plan. And the thing that is awesome about that is it will allow us to start targeting our strategic plan more effectively, especially as we start having more revenue available. So that if PROSAB is like, oh, this is what's on our work plan, what we'd like to have accomplished or what we'd like to focus on, we can put that into the strategic planning effort and be like, these are some of the goals for this team, and do that for all the boards, which I think will be a super good thing to just make sure we're all aligned and everything's working. And that's really the intent here. It's just to make sure that, the boards and commissions are all functioning and as one. I don't think they don't do that now. That's not the intention. It's just, we all know that with advisory board, sometimes the connection to the BOT, it's really critical. That's how the stuff ends up getting done. And so we're just trying to make sure that that's as strong as possible.
Are you thinking that for the work plan that we have not necessarily a template, but just like kind of a little bit of a structure around what that looks like, so that as the BOT kind of know what to expect from the boards, but also just to kind of give us a little structure of like, okay, how do we put this together?
Yeah.
In a way, because we're not, I think some of the other boards are maybe a little bit more like organizationally minded than us. So I think we're a little bit more like freeform. And
We have documents. The other boards, you're really the only one that doesn't have it. And it was just previously the work you were doing didn't really require it, but I think it would help in the future. But we have a document we call our forecaster, and it's really a staff tool that we use to track the different items. One thing too that is good that we can start doing with PROSAB is you guys are a working board of experts, and that's cool. But having staff support and like you have a pretty good team here with Nikki and her staff, and then you can have me and maybe other support at times from the other staff as needed. But we can bring aims to you that are really policy briefs for the things that we're working on, and like we can make sure like financial things align and like strategically things are working or legal or ethical or whatever the question might be, and bring you so that you can kind of have that inform what you're doing. And I see you guys may be working on grants too, and that's something that we have to include our finance staff on. So I think ultimately that's a really critical tool, is getting that forecaster document working. And then one of the things we'll do and that we have planned at the staff level is the liaison people, who right now are myself, Britt, Nikki, and I don't know if you guys know Cass, she's our sustainability coordinator. But we're the ones who are the primary board liaisons. And so we're going to start working differently with the boards. And then also we'd like to start having, I'm going to call them a mixer, but not necessarily a mixer, but just some opportunities for the boards to come together and with the staff and like have some of these conversations, so that we're not just having touch points at meetings when you can only talk a certain way. So I think all of that comes into it. And I think meeting with the liaison and the chair or the vice chair, or however that needs to look for different projects, and just scaling it and kind of the project management template would be good.
yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, and I know that would help us a lot, because I feel like that's sort of something we've always sort of,
Yeah.
at least in my brief time here, has been like, how do we really convey it feels like we do a lot of stuff, but then
Yeah.
we don't quite know what to have.
When your challenge too is Nikki and her team are they're mighty but small. They're like the minnow eating the whale. And that's a cool thing. Like they're great. And it's just one of those things that like being able to kind of like see through her eyes on these projects and what they can accomplish, because and I'm sorry, I'm talking too much on this, but one of the big things that we talked about at the BOT that is something we really need to start focusing on is fire mitigation. But we all know how expensive and difficult fire. I mean, there's a reason it's we constantly tackling projects, we can do a ton of work and then we gotta go. It's just a never ending thing. So helping, like, I think that's like some of the stuff that PROSAB could really like dive into, like how could we figure out this volunteer issue? Is there a way that we can do it differently or creative thinking to make it so we can do it legally?
Yeah.
Or like we do a permitting thing like they used to do in the National Forest, where you can come
Yeah.
for $10, cut wood. Or like, we'll have Jim do it, I don't know, like. you cut wood. But regardless, like stuff like that, like helping to figure out how that could happen with the limited resources Nikki has, and then helping as we kind of move forward, like helping her operationalize like the goals and keeping that capacity in mind. And that's one of the things that I was trying to tell the board. And I think the board was really responsive to is like, we need to focus on our service delivery in Nederland. That's a really important thing for us. Excellent service delivery in everything we do. I think we do that, but I think that's what we want to focus on is like how we do these things. And then when we think about external projects, like how those support those general missions or the strategic goals that are set and those kinds of conversations. And the cool thing is that Nederland is going through some big changes right now. They're going to let some of that stuff happen more easily. But I think that culture is something that happens deliberately. Like it's, more than great people showing up. We just have to talk about it and work it through. And I think that we're in a really good place to do that. And you guys are a really good board too. So thank you for all the work you do. I think we're well posed to like start really making some progress on this stuff.
I know that like parks is like the main, staff aspect of the purview of PROSAB, but in terms of like things that we are in our scope to recommend or advise on, is it just things within parks or like what's your perspective as like kind of as it town staff?
Are you asking me?
Well, I was asking John more like, because it just, when he just mentioned like, Parks is the small but mighty team. And in some ways it'd be nice to be able to think about, as PROSAB, think about more resources than just parks. Like if we, like, what else?
Can I give you the history of the way PROSAB used to function? And this was before before there was a parks department. PROSAB acted as a liaison to the Forest Service. Not to say that we can do work for them, but PROSAB would give the Forest Service the recommendation of what they thought the Forest Service could do for West Magnolia or for Gordon Gulch or for the areas that affect the town of Nederland and the trails that connect to Nederland. So before there was a Parks Department, PROSAB was that liaison.
Yeah, I would love to see more of that.
I'd love to see some board interconnectivity too. Like there's some obvious linkages between you and SAP that could happen and like co-work sessions about that. I think that's the other thing I guess the PROST is like, and this is a very common, it's with every job. It's not just government, but in government, we get these plans and then they're big and complex. And the PROST is definitely that. It's not too complex. It's a big plan. And how we operationalize that is a really critical thing. And I think that that's one of the things that we want to be thinking about because there's really a lot of pieces of that, right? It's like capacity of staff, capacity of the boards, it's money, because that's always the question. And I think we're entering a situation where money may change in Nederland over the next few years, which is great, but we just need to be very careful about that right now. But like those things and like coming up, and we talked about this as a board the other night too, and I can tell you a little bit more about it. Maybe we could do an update on this specifically, but coming up with like some criteria for how you like work through the goals of what you would say. And I think you can have that voice. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially in like bigger issues, especially where there is a recreation or open space or, those you can find those linkages. And so I think what it really boils down to is like, and maybe that's part of your role, Luke, is like, as you're going to board meetings and things, and maybe we need a system for that, but if there's a tag that needs to go, that you think would be good to talk about with PROSAB, we should do that. And I think that it's a matter of, it's just figuring out.
So we used to invite Matt Henry with the U.S. Forest Service to a lot of PROSAB meetings, and not necessarily to ask him what the town of Nederland could do for the Forest Service, but more like, where do you need volunteers and how do we get this to move forward? And he was a really good resource to have at our meetings before there was a Parks Department. I think there are some growing pains that happened that maybe haven't been remedied between the no Parks Department and now there is a Parks Department, and what is PROSAB's actual role. It's we haven't figured out how to grow through that yet.
Any retreat or work session to, like, just like we just did with the board, like
Yeah.
something like that would be
Yeah.
useful.
Because for me, it's like I don't have any say over the trails that are outside of the town of Netherland city limits or town limits. I don't have any say over any of that. Yes, I have a lot of contacts. Yes, I have a lot of information, historical, et cetera. But I can't do anything about a trail that lays outside of the town of Netherland. And we have very little land. So when I'm hearing people say, well, the town of Netherland doesn't have any trails and you guys are way behind on mountain bikes, well, where are we going to put them? We got to talk to the Forest Service. We got to get the people that are around us to be our advocates and our, partners, not just.
That's super helpful context, Nikki. I'd like to have some historical, that we used to have more relation with the Forest Service because as I mentioned a few times, I feel like, both Boulder County and the Forest Service, like that land really is like very much a part of town. And
Yeah.
so.
People think it is. And City of Boulder, even that North Shoreline Trail, people think that's town of Netherland land. It's not. I got no say over that. Should we have say over it? Should we have an advocate on those people's, City of Boulder and et cetera? Yeah, we absolutely should. But when you're talking about town staff, that's out of my hands.
I know that when Kat was on the board, she used to go to the Boulder County open space meetings.
Mhm.
And so I think that's something that would be good to kind of bring back because, Boulder County is, a key partner for us, between Mud Lake and Park Hill and stuff. So I would love to see us do
You
more.
have 3 major players that all butt up to the town of Netherland that somebody should be keeping their finger on if you're talking about specifically trails and connectivity.
And also, speaking of connectivity, like I think one of the other areas where like our influence can make a difference is in the multimodal transportation parts of like,
CDOT.
well, and just like, walking and biking connectivity and just in terms of like transportation and community and commuting is, I think it's, another place where we, in conjunction with these other agencies, but, we can make an impact on, how do we make it easier for people to get around town on foot and on bikes and just as helping with our transportation plan.
The biggest thing that I saw that came out of that multimodal transportation plan was crosswalks and the lack of marked pavings and things like that. And that's where I'm saying CDOT. Because we do
Well, and-
only. What's that?
So, well, like the signage, I saw that was a big one,
Yeah.
like people don't quite know where to go and I know we have some really good signs in a few places, but yeah, it's not always super clear, so. This is all really great. I feel like this is, if we can both, codify that in a good way, but also like make sure that we do always have somebody who's liaising with the Park Service and Boulder County and the city of Boulder.
I know Sam's had some contact with Matt Henry. I know that. So maybe he can help with that. I have his contact, but like I said, I'm the Parks Department. I'm not the liaison to the city of Boulder, Boulder County, or the Forest Service. So if one of you guys can tackle that, that's
The
super helpful.
strategic plan from the board pretty soon,
Yeah,
like one way or the other. We may have, I don't know if we have one more meeting or 2 more meetings or whatever about that, but it would be good to bring that to this board too, to talk about that and where that's going. And I think that's something we could work together on, just,
yeah.
to bring that forward so you guys can understand the context that the board is kind of working under.
Yeah.
Because I think there's this like kind of, in our meeting, the comprehensive plan has what's called a what they call the resiliency framework and a resiliency index. And there's 4 buckets that basically they measure that at for the goals in the comprehensive plan. And so a lot of this work fits in that buckets, and there's a lot of cross functional things. So we've been really like trying to dial in what that strategic plan looks like and how it's going to work over the next, 6 months and then maybe the next 24 months or whatever. So I think that would be a really good thing to bring forward too. And then maybe also the other possibility there, Luke, is we could look at a review of, we did a little bit at the board, but we should review the multimodal plan, the sub-area plan, and the comprehensive plan too, because there are elements of recreation in each one of them, or open space or whatever. And just think about, just so that we're all on the same page about what they say. And that's something that we could do very easily this fall, maybe. It's just, a lot of these things that's where having this tracker would help, is just making sure that
Right,
we're operationalizing you guys with the right
Yeah.
data set.
totally.
Well, it sounds like if each board is creating an annual work plan, we want to make sure that fire mitigation is a big part of that, and how we
Yeah.
maybe are engaging with other boards on that, and then also liaising with the Forest Service, with our federal and state, and county partners. And so fire mitigation and trails and all of that. So it seems like maybe those are 2 big issues that we can
Yeah.
think about as part of that work plan.
I will tell you, one of our big challenges for next year is that we were in a structural deficit when I got here, which means revenues are, we've cut a lot of expenditures, but revenues are not enough to pay for the expenditures at the service level that the town has currently. But we're expecting an improvement this year. And by next year, I expect that we're either out of the situation or it's significantly reduced. And it's just a growing pain situation for Netherlands. So next year, the way this works may be different. And I think that that's something that we can bring to you too. And we'll need to have, I think as we move forward, the advisory board need to have a budget presentation too about where we're at, so we can start identifying these priorities and what we can do. But that being said, there are grants for fire mitigation. One thing that I would like to do is there's a wildfire partners grant where we can designate Old Town as one of their areas that they can cover all of, because it's usually like based on lot size, but because of how Old Town is built, we may be able to designate them. I forget what the certification is called, the wildfire safe thing or whatever. But it would allow us to do mitigation in Old Town and help people there, which would be great. And then we're going to continue working on mitigation both on private land and public lands, like to help people. And then, the other thing I think that's coming that is probably PROSAB adjacent, if nothing else, is pine beetles. And it's starting to become a thing again.
Yeah.
It's always cyclical, but that's a tricky one.
Well, I think maybe we should wrap up this discussion, but it sounds like the BOT is gonna be codifying this ordinance. And so I don't know if anyone has any comments on Jonathan's suggestion or request for comment on the chair term limits, or how long. I think we've gone through, at least in my experience with PROSAB, we've kind of gone through chairs like pretty
It hasn't been,
cyclical.
it hasn't
Yeah.
been an issue for this board. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
it's something that comes up.
I don't think you'd need to, I think what my honest preference is that you guys there's a bylaws requirement in there too, which you guys already have bylaws.
Yep.
But it's like just a process of review and make sure they're up to date. You guys want to do bylaws, you have that identified in your bylaws at some point, you could, but I think that really could be something that just is a working agreement for you.
Okay.
It seems like the most reasonable way to do it, I think, honestly. I don't think we need to codify every possible thing in this ordinance. The goal is just to say, these are our boards and they're important and this is how we function.
All right, well, our last informational item is from Nikki with her staff report.
Right.
Nikki, it looks like you're in a hotel room. Are you traveling, or is that just what you're-
So I've been going up to South Dakota about every 3 weeks right now. My mom has cancer, so I stopped at North Platte, Nebraska to spend the night in exciting North Platte.
I think
Not
there last
sure.
month.
I was there twice last month. So I'm going up again, and this time my daughter and my grandkids will be there, so that's exciting. But I don't know, maybe there's a club in North Platte I can go hit up after this. Who knows? Clubbing in North Platte. So
Kind of funny that you're on the same river, just way further down.
I'm definitely not drinking the water down here. So I brought some town and Netherland water with me. All right, so this last month, the month of August, so I really want to try to put it in perspective for you guys because I have my 3 full-time year-round staff and myself, and then this last month I had the 2 temporary employees, and one of them, her last day was yesterday, and I have one more that's extended through October. I have asked the DDA to give me another 12 weeks with her. She's an excellent employee and a really hard worker. So hopefully the NDDA will fund her for another 12 weeks, which would bring me through the end of the year. And then I'm going to try and beg and plead them, and however it works, I'm trying to keep this other temporary employee as a year-round part-time employee. So that anyway, it would just supplement me. Because at any given time, we have every day we start with chores. And so chores take about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on the day. That's where we open up the visitor center. We open up the Chipeta Park. We open up the rink bathroom. We do all the trash cans in town. We do, as we're doing that, we do our walkabouts to make sure that there's no dog poop or trash around on the, in the main parts of the central business district. And while we're doing that, we're also looking for problems. Typically on those days, I send the staff out to do that, and I stay at the office and do as many emails as I can. And then after that, we tackle whatever project is priority for the day. For the month of August, one of the biggest priorities was giving the rink a little bit of a facelift. We painted all of the buildings. We redid the signs. We redid the shelving. We scrubbed down the surface. We did a deep cleaning on the bathroom, deep cleaning on the inside of the sheds. Throughout two truckloads and a trailer load of trash that had been not from us, that was just there. And we still have, I'm actually getting a dumpster up there next week to finish off getting some of the stumps and things out from the rink area. The other priority that was on our list for the month of August was building the ADA ramp for the Gillespie house. So that took 2 employees, well, with concrete pouring and everything else that we did, it took two employees about 2 weeks to do that ADA, tear out the old stairs and then put in the ADA ramp up at the Gillespie house. We built garden beds at Gercio. We built 2 garden beds at Gercio. We revamped the garden beds at Town Hall. We revamped the garden beds at Chipeta Park. And we also revamped the garden bed at the Gillespie house, which is not our responsibility, but the Historical Society said that it was, so we did. Another one of the high priorities on the list was just making sure that Chipeta Park is constantly mowed, taken care of. We had to redo some of the trails that were at Chipeta because of the rains that had happened over the summer. We had the sidewalks on 2nd Street and East Street that washed out, so we had to revamp those. And then we started on the Rink Link Trail, which is very baby stages of construction. We're basically just trying to get out some of the junipers, trying to get out some of the trees that had to come down. I've heard a lot of comments on what we're doing up there at the Rink Link, and I'm begging for people to just let us do what we're going to do. And I'm promising that it's going to look really nice when it's done. I know it is, it looks very wide and messy right now, but it will not look like that forever. And I'm trying to think of what else. So that's just like a little tiny taste of what has to happen every single day. And never fail, there is something where somebody needs something else. So we get called off of what we're doing and have to go to whatever other thing is happening. So you're talking about how PROSAB can help the Parks Department and what your guys' goals and things should be for PROSAB. And acting as a liaison for things like fire mitigation for the Forest Service, for City of Boulder, for the state, those are great things. One of the things that It's been on the list from me, for a very long time, was trying to get that grant for Chipeta Park so that we can get a new surface and new playground equipment. That is very high on my priority list, and I just have not had time, and nor was it supposed to be on my list of things to do because I thought PROSAB was going to tackle that. So as you guys are thinking about the things that you need to do and want to do, please remember that I am the town of Nederland Parks manager. That is the town of Nederland. And so when you think about what the things are that are in the town, those are the things that I need help with. And I am asking for help to find the grant for Chipeta Park. And how we're gonna find the matching funds for it, maybe we'll find it, maybe we won't. So that is one of the things that I'd just like PROSAB to keep in mind as a high priority for the things that the town of Nederland needs for our parks. That's all I got.
Thanks, Nikki. And in addition to all of that, I'd like to say thank you so much for putting up the new bench at the entrance to the Moose Meadows open space. I saw that. Looks great.
I love it, CT, that you notice things and that I've replaced the lid on the bongo. I don't know if you noticed that, but when you notice the little things that we do, it really makes me happy because I can give you the list of things that we do that are big, but I forget how many other little things that we've done over the course of the summer. We, installed 3 benches this year, so in 3 different parks. So thank you for noticing. I appreciate that.
We do notice, and we really appreciate everything you guys are doing. In terms of the Chipeta Park grant, you say like finding the grant, what would be the most timely and helpful intervention that PROSAB could do around that work?
Kat started some work just researching different grants. I know at one point in time, she'd even sent out an email asking what people thought of certain grants. I don't know if they were fitting or not. And I know Sam was starting to do something with that a couple months ago, but I don't know how far he got. What I need is the grant that's gonna give us the most bang for our buck. Yes, we need new playground equipment, but when we're doing that, we might want to look at replacing the surface because we have the most ADA unfriendly material that you could possibly have. There is no way that anybody with any kind of mobility issue, even regular people walking through that pea gravel, is not very friendly. So any mobility issue and they can't get to the playground at all.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The other one is the rink, and we talked about that.
Yep.
The board meeting too, but those two I think are actually, honestly, in the whole scheme of town grants, those are probably the most likely to be funded through grants right now of all the projects, the rink and the playground.
Yeah, and the rink grant was very close. We did a lot of work on it. Alex and Casey and all of us, we did a lot of work on it. We actually submitted and then we're told that we should pull it back and get more community input. So we did that, and that's when we had complaints from one of those other boards that actually made it all came to a screeching halt. So the rink grant as it was very close. However, conversations between John and I as of late, it is in our best interest to hire an outside company to come in and look at the entire scope of that project and find out what exactly the community wants up there and to basically rewrite that grant in a what is it?
I didn't tell you this, but I just found out I have this friend Bobby, and he is the town manager of Victor, which is down south in Colorado.
Yeah. Haunted Victor.
Yeah, but they happen to have an outdoor hockey rink with the exact same problem that we have. And they found a firm, because I was thinking if we do this engineering project, we could actually get an outdoor hockey rink expert type person to like make a recommendation to us about the best solution for our ice.
Yeah,
So
that'd be awesome.
that would be the other reason to do that project is we could really try to dial that in and then figure out like the whole scheme of that park, and I really think that park in a lot of ways, Chipeta and the rink both are kind of the places where they were more community oriented than tourism oriented.
Yeah.
And so having them be really strong community spaces is, I think, a pretty critical thing. So
Hey, and by the way, do you guys know that of all of the outdoor rinks in the state of Colorado, our Netherland ice rink is the only one with a 5-star rating on Google? Just saying, even with our little crummy buildings, we still have a 5-star rating. So people really enjoy that space very much. It's a priceless outdoor space. So being able to put money into it and doing it right with somebody that's expert, that makes the most sense to me. And it takes the component of what tennis wants and what hockey wants out of it. And it's what the community wants and what that facility could do for the community as a whole.
Well, I know that the Chipeta grants were one of the PROSAB goal, current PROSAB goals. I think we've kind of fallen off on some of those goals, just I think focusing on the PROST and getting that done, I think this year.
Yeah. And we lost we lost our committees and lots of changes and things like that. So
But yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate this, you bringing this essentially to like the top of our, attention. And now that, as we're wrapping up the pros and getting it over the hands of BOT and hopefully finalizing that, we can focus on these grants and Chipeta, for Chipeta and the rink. And yeah, to the extent we can leverage Jonathan's connection, with the town of Victor, I think that would be great.
when Jonathan has great knowledge because he was monumental in getting the skate park for Idaho Springs, and that was a $2.4 million grant. So his knowledge in this is something that I'm very much milking.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
And we got Jim?
Yeah, Nikki, this is Jim Navratil.
Hi, Jim.
Did you get my email about, if you want 4 large, flower pots from me?
I did see that email come through. I don't know what I would do with them, but I could ask Judy, the flower lady in town, if she is interested in putting them in different spots. She ended up giving away all of our town of Netherland flower pots. She gave them to different businesses in town and is having them take care of their own pots. We even took 2 of them in front of town hall. So I could ask Judy if anybody else needed some.
Okay.
Thank you,
And
Jim.
the other thing, you have, I have a nice park bench I'd like to donate to the town. Is there
Very cool.
any use for that?
We just got a brand new donation policy on Tuesday. We could be our
I
first victim.
love benches and donations. So yeah.
So do I give it to you then?
Yeah, Jim, I'll email you when I get back from South Dakota on Tuesday. And maybe is it at your house?
Yes,
So we can come by and pick it up if you don't mind.
that'd be great.
Okay, awesome. I'll look forward to climbing your stairs.
And then that's right.
Awesome. Okay, well, I think we can proceed to, I think Nikki touched on some of our discussion items. One was the rink link trail update. So it sounds like the parks has started some work on that, which is great news. I don't know if there's any further updates on the Jesse's offer and that with High Performance Earthworks, or if that's still on hold or anything else related to the rink link.
The board just adopted a new donation policy, which covers everything from what we just talked about. So there is a new form that we have to do, Nikki, but it's super simple. I can take care of that part. But basically what it does is it creates a trail just so we can honor donations. Essentially, that's the big thing. So there's incidental donations, which is basically what Jim just said, small to mid-sized donations, which are things that don't require review of any kind of professional services or anything, and then bigger donations. And that's going to give us the structure that we need to do deals like that now. So the next step would be identifying projects, I think is where we're at on that. So I haven't talked to Jesse since the project or since the board approved it. It was just Tuesday. So, but that would be, basically the important thing is there's a framework.
Awesome.
And would we still have Jesse work on the rink trail? I mean, how do we identify?
I think that's probably a good question to ask him first and see if he's still interested in donating the the labor and like what he might, because he's probably got ideas about what he'd like to do as well. And we have other projects, so like it could be that, or maybe we identify another project. So I know he's been a little bit busy lately too, and so now that we got it, I think we can start that conversation and figure out next steps.
I know Jesse is on, so I don't know if he wants to share or offer any insight to that. If not, I'm sure he'll be able to take it offline, but okay, you just came on mute.
Hey, yeah, I'm just down here working on the bike park at Ron Mitchell's lot down here, listening in. So wanted to make a public comment earlier, just how stoked I am that Nikki is working and doing awesome work and making progress on the rink link. And I've been trying to tell people too, like I get this all the time with excavation. Nikki, I was sending you psychic vibes of goodness because people, they see a middle of an excavation project and start panicking, and you really can't make any assessments of the work until it's done. So I was just trying to share that with various people who might have asked me about it, and just wanted you to know, Nikki, I'm super stoked to see you guys making headway, and also John and everybody. So it's really, really cool.
I appreciate that,
And
Jesse, because yeah, it's a one of the you get it. I know.
yeah, totally. So anyway, I'm totally jazzed about the progress and totally here to help and do anything. And I understand the process and the legal framework for accepting a donation. And yeah, I mean, just I'm totally open to helping anywhere I can. And I'm really psyched about bikes, as everybody knows. So that's really kind of where I was wanting to help make a donation to help bicycle infrastructure specifically, and wherever it's appropriate, determined by the public process and John and Nikki, and I'm here to help in any way I can with that. And meanwhile, I'm helping with basic infrastructure stuff too. So water taps and mains and drainage issues in the town are all equally as important in what I'm doing for my day
Maybe we
job.
could
So
meet Jesse offline and just see if there's any projects that rise to the top, and then we could report out.
totally. Yeah, anytime. Just let me know, and anything I can do to help at any point along the way. I'm psyched for all the good things happening. So that's really the extent of kind of my public comment right now. And we can talk offline anytime.
Awesome. Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up, we've got the chiller before this winter for rink. I know we talked about this at the August meeting, that one of the biggest, rink is a revenue generator for the town. We have an issue with keeping the ice and not melting, just given warmer temperatures in the winter and the sun exposure from the rink. And so there was talk about maybe the town buying a chiller to keep the rink frozen, to keep it in place and in working condition. But I know, Nikki, you mentioned last month that maybe renting a chiller would be appropriate for this season before the town undertakes a large purchase. And so I don't know if you have any update on that potential acquisition that we talked about.
I do. So I looked into renting chillers, and I've got 3 or 4 different companies that I've contacted, and I had 2 of them get back to me. One of them with a list of questions that some of those questions I can't answer. Another one actually got back to me today. I wish I had brought my notes with me because it's like a page of complicated lingo for me, because it's a lot of like electricity lingo that I don't really understand. But that quote was like $60,000 to do the whole surface. So perhaps we could get it for 30,000 if we were only going to do half of the surface. I'll have more information when I get back and can look at those notes again though.
Nikki, can you remind me, we talked about guesstimating off last year what their revenue might be if we could extend our season a month or 2 months. Do you remember, what were you thinking?
So last year we were open for about 6 weeks because of the crummy weather. And so we had about six weeks we were open longer than that, but we had to close a lot of times. And so we had about 6 good weeks of ice time, and we brought in a little more than $15,000. So if you consider that we could extend or double our time that we would get with the ice, then we're looking at doubling the revenue at the rink. So we'd bring in about $31,000 instead of 15 and change.
Possible to, wasn't there a rent to own situation or no? Was that something I made?
I
up?
have not found one yet, but that doesn't mean there isn't one. So I have not exhausted my search efforts.
Potentially the ROI could cover maybe 50% of the cost, potentially.
And also that's just renting for the season, but like, is that it, like? Is there a limit on the duration of that rental? Like, and
So
they-
that rental would be the entire winter season.
so, but if we were to say rent it from October to April versus,
So
December.
that would be the entire winter season. And then if we shortened that because of capacity, et cetera, if we shortened it to say December to the beginning of April, then that cost would be reduced as well.
okay, cool, that's helpful.
Yeah.
The other thing would be like, with the chiller, I'm guessing you can actually, I mean, I've seen ice rinks in downtown Denver where it's, kind of close
Yeah.
to freezing. So like if we
Yep.
could.
Full sun and solid ice. And I am all about it because one disco night alone brings in about $1,200. So
We could do something like mid-October to, mid-April.
we couldn't do that, but we could do end of November or beginning of December, or like Thanksgiving break all the way up to say beginning of April. We could totally do that. And the reason I say we can't is because of tennis.
Well, I guess maybe not, like, as soon as the snow is on the ground.
Right. And this year I don't think we could do it, even if we said we're not going to do tennis. I don't think we could do it because we're just so close. It's October, like in 2
I'm
weeks.
just kind of thinking, in seasons down the road too, but.
I would love to buy one, but some of those systems, and depending on the type of system that we would need, like that's a grant. We're looking at.
With us finding an expert, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'd say maybe we could get somebody come this year and just give us their opinion on if half ice would cover it or if we need the full deal. And this is the glycol pad ones, right? Like the.
Yep, the glycol, and the company that gave me the quote, it did include the glycol refills and all of the things that we would need. So it's a lengthy quote. I'll send it to you when I get back.
The other thing too is like, if we had the chiller, not only would we have the extended season, but I think we might actually get more people coming up because it's predictable. They know they're not going to be like, oh, I'm coming up to maybe the rinks, maybe it's not going to be, maybe it's going to be open, maybe it's not. Like we actually might have a bigger overall increase with the predictability. So
yeah, and it saved me a lot of time with the website too. Updating the calendar.
But right,
Somebody reached out to Nikki and me as well about running an ice hockey tournament if we could guarantee the ice.
totally.
And I know Georgetown, for instance, made like $150,000 off their tournament, something like crazy like that. So
So
it's probably worth it long term. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, it seems to me that even if it's 60K and we can't confidently say we're going to make 60K, that would kind of be worth it to just be like, what happens if we are open?
and this is why possibly prioritizing a grant application for this, the playground, not forgetting the playground, but this could be a really good project.
Totally.
Right. I saw Carolyn's hand up. What was that?
Yeah, I was just wondering, because it is so late in the season and close to the actual ice rink season, I'm wondering like if it might actually benefit us to still reach out and see if it's not too late. Like some of these companies might be trying to make like one more sale or be willing to do like a last minute discount or something for a rental or something.
I mean,
So
I'm reaching out to them all right now. So they maybe are desperate. I hope they are. Give me the good deal.
yeah.
Nikki, did you
Okay.
say rent it for the season, not to buy, would be 60 grand.
60 for the full coverage for the full season.
For the full ice, which I don't think that we would need, because if we could cover the problem areas, like if we could just do the perimeter and or like half the ice or whatever that's gonna look like, then I think the part that's in the shade stays really frozen as long as it doesn't have that moving water underneath of it. And if we could keep the north side of it from creating moving water, we'll be in much better shape on that south side.
How much, I guess, just so a reality check, or I don't know, how much does a chiller then, if that's just to rent it for a couple months, how much does a chiller?
Some of them are $1 million to $2 million to cover an Olympic size court.
Is that what size we have?
Grant.
Oh,
Cause
okay.
yeah, I mean, we can probably find one used, and we could probably find the pieces and parts for way cheaper. But if you're talking about going out and buying a brand new chiller, then you're looking at $1 million to $2 million to cover an Olympic size court.
Yeah, and one of the other suggestions that came up in a previous meeting was that we have a lot of local knowledge. And if we're thinking of like how to get thrifty with a permanent installation, you know, you could run a heat pump, and there's a number of people up here who are pretty well versed in, you know, eco technologies, which we might be able to leverage to, because it's not like we actually need a massive amount of cooling. We just need like consistent cooling, right? We're not down in downtown Denver. We're
Yeah,
you know-
our hockey rink is 100 by 200 feet. If we could, if we could freeze 100 by 50 feet, cut that in half, so to speak. I mean, we'd be rocking. So
Yeah. Yeah, and like, I mean, we probably don't need to worry too much about like days much over 40 degrees. Like that's not really our,
once
concern.
it's going, yeah. I mean, it's about the intensity of the sun. It's not about the temperature as much as people would think that it is. It's the intensity of our sun. And once we hit that 27 degrees and up mark, if it's full sun, it's starting to thaw and just from the bottom up. So it's not because the sun's hitting it and it's melting on the upside. That doesn't really matter. It's when it's getting us from below. That's when we're losing our ice.
Nikki, what did you say the dimensions were?
Our rink is 100 by 200, roughly. It's like 98 by 204, but you can keep it in your mind at 100 by 200.
Okay, cool.
Well, it seems like we want to keep the momentum going on this. And so maybe we can continue to talk about this at the October board meeting, and maybe Nikki will have more information on quotes and potential pricing. And so what would the process look like? Would parks need to request that budgetary approval from the BOT?
Yeah.
Would that be the next, or that would be the ultimate step?
Yeah. I'm just gonna also throw out there, really, you could do, if you did a pilot project for the rental, I know it's expensive. That's part of the problem, but like if it did work, and even if you could open 6 weeks, I mean, if you could just recover the cost of the rental.
Yeah.
You'd be doing pretty good. And then we could maybe build it out from there. And so that could be one way to do it. Or we could look into this home built thing, but Nikki and I can talk about that a little bit and see if we can come up with some more opportunities.
Jonathan, I know I'm just like spitballing, but I know you'd mentioned like we had some unexpected growth in the marijuana fund. Is that something that could go towards like the chiller rental? I don't know
Yes.
how much
It's not
is.
that much growth, but yeah.
Nikki's.
I'm gonna have to start buying my mom some more of that CBD for cancer treatment and also fund my own department. Thanks.
By side really bad. And a skidster, like both of those things would help us. She could use a mini X too, honestly, but.
Yeah. Thank God for the utilities department because they have been borrowing me their equipment left and right. But like yesterday they had a service line break and we were supposed to use their mini from this whole week and we got it for about 2 hours today and that was it. So our hopes and dreams for the week kind of, we just had to do other things instead.
Okay. just wondering, just seeing how we can make this happen, but sounds like that money's going towards other like big needs within the department too, so.
There is CTF money, like that could be one of the things we do. There's $27,000 in CTF, which is lottery funds. And this probably would work for that. There's also restricted funds. There's like a $30,000 restricted fund and a $130,000 restricted fund. Those are your match for grant applications potentially, or could be used for a project.
There's things, we'll have to hash it out, because my wish list is lengthy. We have to figure out which ones are.
Partners too. I would imagine that the youth hockey program would be interested in helping figure out a funding thing for this, because we could do much, much more with youth. It's probably one of the most popular programs in Netherlands. So there might be some opportunities there too.
Great, well, I'll put this on the agenda for October and keep the momentum going, and sounds like it'd be great if we could extend it. It makes me sad, and I guess I didn't realize the severity of last year that the rink was only open for 6 total weeks, so.
Yeah, we opened just after, like 2 days after Christmas. And not for lack of trying, because we started making ice at the end of November. And then we ended up closing. Well, we closed in January. Of all the things, like we had to close for a week in January because the ice was not frozen anymore. And then the same in February. And we didn't even make it to the end of February when we were closed for the season. It was very sad. We tried so hard, and I felt so bad for Mark Slosher because he probably put in 140 hours of overtime just trying to keep that ice zammed. And he was out there, patching holes at left and right. And it was a nightmare, because that is our happy place. It really is. And so when we have to close, it's heartbreaking.
Great, well, appreciate everyone's like ideas and interest in this, so we'll talk about it next month and keep this going.
Right.
Oh, go ahead, Jim.
Nikki, is it feasible to have a tent over the ice to keep the sun out?
Not without even more cost. And Jim, that ice is so big, the size of the cable that would be required. I just don't know how it would work. Yeah, and especially if it was like a short tent, like you would see it for somebody's wedding or something like that, then you don't play hockey.
Talked about rigging up some steel poles and running steel cable between them, and then using like sun shades or shade sails. The problem is that it's 100-foot span, and so you would have to, the tension on that cable is going to be hard to get correct. So, and they've also talked about a shed roof. The problem with a shed roof though is it would be a massive building, and
It would be ugly.
yeah, and there's neighbors, right? I mean, it could happen. There's no reason we couldn't do it. It's, when you go there now, it is like a super Mighty Ducks vibe, like Minnesota at midnight kind of deal. And it's so cool. Like, it's hard to want to kill that.
Yeah, I know we talked about in the past, like the grant work and potentially doing some sort of roof, but that seems like a really, I don't want to say pie in the sky, but like a really like long-term maybe goal.
Well, if you have ever been to Gunnison's outdoor rink has the steel shed roof over the top of their outdoor rink, and it is not aesthetically pleasing. It's not nearly as cool looking as our ice is, and our ice is out there. You're out there on a bluebird day. It is spectacular. So it's just different. It's just different. So.
Yeah, and I will say the one in Fraser, the Grand, whatever that is, Grand County one is covered and it looks pretty good.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I've not seen that one.
That's
I'll have to Google it.
yeah, I'll get it. Yeah, so I can get a picture of it. But it's the Fraser Valley Sports Complex. I don't see a very good picture of it though yet, but there's definitely options I think that would make it doable for the cover, but from everything that it sounds like I've heard about this is that the chiller would be way more effective.
Seems like the first step.
Yeah.
All right, well, that brings us to the Moose Meadows cleanup update. I know last month we talked about maybe wanting to do a Moose Meadows mitigation event 2.0 because we had such a successful one last fall. And so I don't know if CTV have any update on that or.
I don't,
Yeah,
I don't have any update on that. We haven't had a chance to sit down and talk about what type of help we could accept. But that's still on mind. So hopefully I'll have an update about that soon.
I've just put a reminder in my phone.
Yeah.
I will make sure that we talk
Great,
ASAP.
awesome. So much.
awesome.
Sorry,
Oh, you're fine.
I did want to ask about the current state of the bench dedication program. If that's still up and running.
It exists, yes, and we did, it's slightly modified. There's a form, like a gift form that happens now with that donation policy, but it's incidental, so just like making sure that it's tracked for appreciation purposes, but that is a possibility. We can do that.
Okay. Would that be an opportunity to make a donation to the Parks Department?
Yeah,
Great. Is that just all on the website?
I don't know for sure. I'm sure it is, but I haven't done that while I've been here yet, so I can get that information.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be great. Thank you.
I just pulled up a picture of the Fraser rink. It's nowhere near as good looking as I remember. So
No, it's got I just saw it too, and I was like, he thinks that's good looking. That's just a steel roof. That's exactly what the one in Gunnison looks like. It's just a steel roof over ice. So you get the open air concept, but you don't get the bluebird day shining down on you.
totally.
The other thing we did, I'm sorry, I know I'm not squirreling. There was also talk about a wrap on the dasher boards that we could do that might be like reflect less off of them. But we haven't really dove too far into that.
I have no idea what you just said.
So there's a wrap, so the boards, like the hockey boards,
Mhm.
you can put like a different, because what happens is on the far side of the ice, the glare gets on the ice. It's possible that you could wrap those boards with a different material and that would reduce some of that, but it's not clear that it would actually fix the problem.
Got it.
Which is why a consultant, maybe that is a
Yeah.
good route for next year, is get a consultant.
Yeah, that would seem like, I mean, if we could even get somebody who is reasonably knowledgeable about this to get us. Because we don't even know, like, would it help to do half the thing? Would it help to just do the, the edges?
I
Like,
know. I know it would. Yes,
Yeah,
it would.
yeah.
And yes, it would help to do the edges. Would it help to do any of that? Yeah, totally.
Right, it would all help, but like, what's the most effective?
What's the
thing?
most cost effective? Yeah.
Like, how do? Because it could be that, like, the chiller, the chiller itself is the expensive part, and the actual coverage is maybe not as
If we have
important.
the chiller.
Yeah, like, get the infrastructure to support the actual machine is what's,
Hmm.
I mean, I've just been like Googling a little bit on these things. They have pretty intensive
I'm sure.
utility requirements at
Sure.
base. I mean, they're huge. Like, to get one that's big enough to do the whole rink, like, it's a huge thing.
How big are we talking?
Like, tractor trailer size. kind
Okay.
of,
Yeah, John and I talked about getting a Connex so we could try and get some of whatever it was inside the Connex because it could be noisy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, but I did find one here. Nikki, I'm sure you've seen all of these, but Iron Sleek sells a 8,500 square foot chiller, which they say two of them can do an Olympic size sheet, for 180 grand per chiller. So that'd be, a little less than 400 grand to get us.
Essentially, the ROI on that though is not super long.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially. So I mean, obviously it's still grant territory,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it seems viable.
Yeah, it does seem viable. And
It's just like, where do you put it? And who maintains it? And I mean, because it's
Yeah.
it's big machine.
I did talk to Mayor Billy about heat pumps because he's
Yeah.
very knowledgeable about heat pumps, and you could, in theory, because you really want to heat and cool, and you could do that in this situation with those buildings. You could set up a really good high efficiency heat pump situation.
Yeah.
It's just what that would actually look like.
And Excel has rebates
Yeah,
for heat pumps that you could that the town could tap into too. But would the heat pump then power the chiller? Is
it
that?
could, because it basically just. It could, and he thought it was feasible, so, but I think that's where, like, we really need to dial this idea in, maybe. But
Well, let's see if we can get a rental for this season, even if it's for half the season and like see how effective it is. Like, I think that would be really,
Well, it would have to be the full season because you can't put it under the ice and you can't take it out from under the ice. So you'd have to consider that once we do it, we're committed from December from December to March at least.
and yeah, I guess, right, like you have to, like, you gotta put it down before you get too much even naturally occurring snow and ice on the way.
well, Nikki, I could help chase that down. Just
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. You sent me the list of the 3 companies a while back, and those were 3 of the ones that I contacted. So anyway, we can do
ask
that.
your avalanche contact. We could say just help us report. And just see.
Be out there with my can.
Plans for a night pick up in Eldora.
Maybe
Sure.
it could happen. Have you seen in the Netherlands? They have tracks, so it's like it's almost like a pump track for skating, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Eldora should help the town of Netherland ice rink because when Eldora is full, they send everybody to the rink.
I also showed Nikki this thing the other day that I really want to build, and it's mini golf, except for with hockey pucks and sticks.
Yeah, super
And I think
cool.
we should do.
It's a putt course on ice. Uh-huh.
All right, well, the last 2 discussion items since we already did the action items, is specifics, and I don't know, I think maybe Sam put this on here, but specifics on how PROSAB can fully support fully staffing the Parks Department. And Nikki, I know you mentioned earlier in your staff report that you're gonna be asking the NDDA for funds for these part-time employees, so.
Yep.
I don't know what that process looks like for you, if you have to put like in a written funding request, but is there anything that we could do as a
I
board?
have put that written request into the NDDA. I'm on their agenda on Tuesday. Requesting that they help me fund the temporary employee that I have currently through the end of the year. So it's another 12 weeks. And then through the budgeting process, the 2026 budgeting process, I'm requesting that the NDDA either pay for in full or fund her partly for the entire year, which is about 21,000 and change. I can't remember. It's yeah, something, maybe it's anyway, it's 21,000 and change. So I'm asking the NDDA to fund her wages if she becomes a year-round part-time employee, then we have to, the town will have to absorb her taxes, whatever, insurance stuff, the things that are HR world kind of things. So so we'll see what they say. I don't think it would hurt for I know Sam's out, not in the meeting right now, but I don't think that it would hurt, Casey, if you wanted to write a letter of support for the Parks Department to the NDDA and how helpful that would be for them to fund the position. I don't know if it would hurt at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do that. I think it would be pretty short, to do.
Short
I
and
don't.
sweet. Yeah.
Action.
Yes. No, I think you can do it. I would, if you do, I think focusing it on the work that downtown does, or that Parks does for downtown, and like how it will increase our capacity, like those kinds of messages are probably what will resonate the most.
Yeah.
They're getting new trash cans. That's going to create, Nikki's chores list. There's going to be more trash cans, and that takes time. And so having another person it benefits Parks, but it also will benefit the DDA over time.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think I could write a pretty
Yeah.
quick letter. If everyone's okay with me doing that, and then I guess if their meeting's on Tuesday, I'll try to get it to them Sunday or Monday, I guess, so they can consider it as part of your your when you're speaking at their meeting on
Is it
Tuesday.
Wednesday? I thought it was Wednesday.
I think it is Wednesday. I think maybe I said Tuesday. She sent me an invite. It's a weird day.
All right. Well, I'm happy to do that, and I'll pull Sam in. I know he's not here right now, but yeah, that sounds good. Hopefully it works out.
You're still having your wing person.
I do technically still get a rink person. And so that, but I can't remember how much of the rink person comes out of the 2025 budget. If it's, I mean, yeah, cause I need a rink person and I need I need both. I want, and I need both.
Is there anything we can do then on the rink aspect, or is that kind of already in the works? And
I can't remember if I still have that budget for 2025 or if that's gonna fall in a 2026 category. So I'll have to look when I get back. I don't have budget stuff with me in here.
okay, well, let us know if there's anything we can do to help on that front, but it sounds like I'll write a letter to lobby for the NDDA next week to fund this temporary employee. For you.
Yeah, and you can let them know that, summertime, my staff and I spend probably 80 to 85% of our time in the central business district.
Okay. Oh, Jim has something to say.
Yeah, Nikki, my 4 large flower pots would serve as trash cans as well.
Oh no, don't make me do any more trash, Jim.
All right, well, our last item for tonight is continuing the pros discussion. Last month, we went over some things led by Caroline. So I know Luke mentioned earlier in the meeting that we're gonna try to get this on the BOT's agenda next month. So so maybe let's talk about what we need to do to get pros in that document in the position. So then when the BOT takes it up in October, on a path for success.
Yeah, so is Luke still there? I know Sam dropped.
Here.
Do you have any updates on, I know you guys were gonna work on like the map.
Yeah, Sam and I have been bouncing some versions back and forth, but real life has kept us from completing that. But we do have a work in progress map date. I can check in with Sam tomorrow and see where he's at with that.
Okay, also, what's the date of the BOT that you're trying to get this reviewed at?
Well, John's gonna try and figure it out. You said you're meeting with Billy tomorrow?
It's either tomorrow or it just depends on his schedule, but
Yeah.
it's
So-
it's likely to be the 21st.
Right.
Would be the date.
October?
Yeah. But
Okay,
that being said, we've got to get it fit.
okay. Well, Luke, if you and Sam, like, I'm happy to meet with the two of you at some point before then, if it's helpful. And yeah, happy to try to get this to the finish line. I'm like likely going to be induced around the 21st of October, so I probably won't be at that BOT meeting, but hoping to like try to get this to the finish line before then.
You want me to see if it's possible I could do it on the 7th, but you've worked really hard on this. I don't want you to miss it. Let me see if I can do it.
Well, and Caroline, let me touch base with Sam. I know he's busy tonight, but tomorrow I'll touch base with him
Okay.
and we can see where he's at. Cause I mean, realistically, we should probably do this next week. So.
Yeah, I have time this weekend or next week. Just let me know. Yeah,
Touch base
Do you
with
know what
Sam.
you're getting?
I don't. No, it's two fraternal babies twins that could be any
No
any
wonder you look so
combination.
tired. Oh, kid.
I've also been really sick for 3 weeks, which is also why I meant to follow up with you, Luke, like before this meeting, but I've just been like struggling health wise. But it's okay. So yeah, just keep me posted. And
do-
Luke, I don't know if you have my number, but I have Nicole's number. I can text her and get it from her.
We do have our October meeting is like early, like comparatively earlier in the month. It's on the October 16th, so that could be another opportunity for us to like vote, I don't know, approve the map and like approve the final form of the pros for the 20.
It would be pretty tight.
It'd be tight,
'cause-
okay.
Yeah, cause I'm guessing if it's gonna go in the packet, it probably needs to be done by Wednesday
Okay,
before the meeting. But maybe we can squeeze it in there last minute.
is it just pretty much the map like updating that we,
And there's just
before
a
that?
couple of text updates that I have to finish. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, maybe can we create like a goal then in early October for us to maybe circulate that? So like to everyone to do a final review
Yeah,
and not do reply all.
well,
And just so we can get it all approved, maybe without having to, it be a part of our October meeting.
yeah, and I think, we will have to do another review after the BOT does their review, so, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be final from our standpoint, like, because we're gonna get some direction. But yeah, if anybody has anything they wanna put on it, like, it's definitely
Yeah,
a time to put it in.
yeah. I think it'd be helpful for us to all see the map before,
Yeah,
yeah,
can,
it goes to the BOT. So I don't know. And then any other updates, because I mean, we all have access to the Google document, so it's like I don't think it's gonna change much, but I think it would be good to know what the final touch-ups are before it goes to BOT.
yeah, totally. Cool.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't wanna like put like I don't know, but if we need to get the draft in the packet for BOT on the 21st by the 15th, then like maybe we could circulate it. I don't know how much time we'd need, but like the first like full week of October. So it'd be that week before we need to get in the BOT packet. Like the week of this October 6th.
John, what's the cutoff date for stuff to get
It's
into
the-
for the?
It really is the Wednesday before the meeting. I can take it on the Thursday, but it has to be no later than end of day Thursday.
Right, because that's why, so if we approved it on our Thursday, the 18th meeting, that's a little too late.
I could get it, if I get it to Macy, if it's ready to go and it's just waiting for approval. Just Macy starts the packet at like 8 AM so she can get to the board by the end of the day. So as long as we can get it to her like first thing in the morning, it's probably fine.
But it'd be first thing in the morning on Friday morning.
Yeah, that's when she assembles.
Oh,
So if it's ready to go and I can just say,
like if you know it's gonna be in there.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah.
the placeholder, then here's the final
Right.
document, right? Yeah, okay.
So it sounds like maybe we could
Yeah.
just do the final approval on the Thursday.
Unless you want to try and get it on for the 7th, which,
let me talk to Billy. If I can fit it, I probably would, because
Yeah.
it sounds like there's a lot of reasons that could be great. So let me see if I can do that.
Okay.
so Caroline, I will touch base with Sam and then let's plan on syncing up as soon as we can to just do a pass. And if everybody else kind of in their time over the next week can take a look, then that'd be great.
That all sounds great. Yeah, I know we've got some new board members haven't really been involved in the pros, so they'll be at the October meetings. There'll be more kind of informational update for them, but so for all of us that are here, yeah, just I guess look at the Google document. If you have any final touches, we'll get that done. Knowing that it's gonna come back to PROSAB maybe in at a November meeting to work through what direction we get from the BOT. Okay. All right, everyone. Well, that's all I have on the agenda. Do we have any other business to discuss? Anyone? I know CT asked about the bench donation, so we got that in there.
Can I just get a little background on the document and like what the purpose of it is? So
The trust?
yeah, I mean, I can read it and see what it is, but
Yeah.
like, what's the purpose?
It's basically our master plan for parks and open space and parks, open space and trails for the next, I forget the lifespan of it, 5 to 10 years.
Okay,
So it just kind of gives us like a direction as this board turns over that you have like some consistency and what are the major goals and what are the things that we've targeted to work on.
And Electra, it's what my staff uses to say, these are the goals of our community. It's also a document that looks really good for grant writing purposes. I can say it's in my PROST plan. I have to do this so I can, get grants a little bit easier if I've been able to show them that we've had community support for something. But yeah, it's something that my staff uses as a kind of a work Bible.
Okay, cool. And it's updated every 5 to 10 years, you said?
10 years. And this
Um,
one is 13 years old. Our last one was like 13 years old, so we're behind.
Yep.
All right, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, and it kind of, the goal is also to have it kind of line up with the other town master plans. So we have the comp plan and the downtown sub-area plan and the multimodal transportation plan. And so we're trying to like layer all these
Yeah,
things together.
yeah.
Like one of the ones that's a real common piece between all those is like multimodal trail connectivity. So like how do these sort of, our sort of town community trails, like the one that comes up from, downtown up the hill over here, like how do all those connect? And like that helps everything, right? Like it helps the downtown area, it helps our multimodal transportation, it helps recreation. So that's one of those items that we try to like overlay across all the.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I think that's everything. So motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:07 PM.
Second.
All right. Great job,
Good job,
everyone.
Casey. Good job.
How did I do? Yeah, we'll be fully forward in full force next month. That's when we get those appointments from the VOT. And just so everyone knows, our next meeting is Thursday, October 16th. So, oh, and John has got one thing.
I just gonna tell you, my daughter has a band concert that night, so I probably will not be here, just so you know.
Okay.
I know my brother is taking my mom's shift during that week, so I will be around.
All right,
Thank you.
everyone, have
Bye.
a good night and weekend. Take care.
Bye-bye.